Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm pleased to be a contributor here on African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you that as you come in, you give us a big thumbs up and that you share the broadcast. That helps our message to spread to more people. And how many of you know that we here in alternative Black independent media are the counter voice to the oppressive classes media apparatus? So you strengthen our collective Black voice when you share. Thank you so much. Family, you all know that I talked some time ago here on this amazing network about the specific and literal Civil War and Purge demand coming from this Wilmington, Delaware Police Department, right? You heard the recording. We can play the recording here. I want you to listen to this just to refresh your memory on what I'm talking about. Listen to this.
You know, you have a Civil War, go ahead and wipe them all map. That'll put them back about 4 or 5 generations, because and then you know what, the good ones can go live in their little communities and they can do what they want to do. Just stay out of my way.
That's former Wilmington police officer Kevin Piner talking with another former officer, Jesse Moore. The conversation was recorded on a police cruiser camera, which was accidentally activated.
But if we do not get a handle on this, we are not going to have a country for our kids to be raised in.
In the days before, police and protesters clashed in Wilmington following national calls to end police brutality after the murder of George Floyd, a Black man in Minneapolis.
You told me tonight, you said, all right, tomorrow's a purge day, get as many as you want. Do not go down there. I'd go down there and slaughter them motherfuckers.
The recordings were not only created by chance, but also discovered by chance when a supervisor conducting random audits of video footage decided to take a listen.
So I just sat down as a supervisor. We're supposed to review a video from each person every month, and I just sat down that day saying, I'm going to try to knock a few out today, and that's what I was doing.
That's the supervisor who discovered the videos talking to Wilmington Police Department's internal affairs after she reported what she found. The court evidence exclusively obtained by WECT included not only the racist recordings, but 4 internal affairs investigations as well, including the 3 officers captured in the recordings. Both Jesse Moore and Kevin Piner admit that these are their voices in the recordings, and both say that the conversations were them venting, something Internal Affairs wanted to know a little bit more about.
You just used the term and then you follow that up with having to take it to a Negro magistrate. And so what's going on with that? Is that just how you vent?
So yeah, I shot my mouth off, shouldn't have done that. That's not who I am. I'm not no racist.
Keisha James, an attorney with the National Police Accountability Project, says regardless of stress on the job, this was more problematic than just venting.
I think it's really hard to believe that these officers were just venting, especially when you have them calling for civil war and you have them using racial slurs.
There's no doubt law enforcement is a stressful job, and in recent years, there has been a strain between the community and police. Both Piner and Moore told Internal Affairs that the tension at the time was reaching a boiling point.
The whole thing that started this whole conversation, man, is just that I'm just at a breaking point, you know.
For many, the hate-filled language from the now former Wilmington Police Department officers came as a shock. But for Piner's supervisor, who found the recordings, it wasn't.
So did what you hear on the video surprise you?
No.
The supervisor explains how she overheard similar, albeit less inflammatory conversations during lineup in the prior days. On the larger level, James says it's not the fact that the officers said these things that surprises her.
It's also rare for those officers to kind of remain terminated instead of being reinstated either at that department or another department. The scary part is that these 2 conversations just happened to get accidentally recorded, and then the department took steps to investigate and then released some of the details about their investigation and what was contained in the recordings. That is typically not the case.
However, District Attorney Ben David and Chief of Police Donnie Williams both made sure that didn't happen.
So what we did is we said, not only are they immediately fired, but they should never hold the badge again anywhere in this great state.
I have recommended that none of them be eligible for rehire in any position with the city of Wilmington.
Okay, as a reminder, I wanted to fill in the blanks on a couple of things to bring a little bit more context to that. as well with the update and some other little details that I want to add to that. This particular piece that I'm reading from now, although this information was available a little bit of time ago as well, I needed to add this as an update to my previous broadcast. And that is that the court rules Wilmington was justified in firing police officer for racist remarks. I wanted to add that as a supplement to my last broadcast on this. A New Hanover county judge has upheld the 2020 firing of a Wilmington police officer for making racially charged remarks in the wake of protests following the death of George Floyd. James Brian Gilmore was fired from the Wilmington Police Department in June of 2020, along with officers Michael, quote, Kevin Piner and Jesse Moore II, after recording surface of their racist and violent conversations. These changes, which made national news, was accidentally recorded by Piner's in-car camera and discovered by a supervisor during a routine audit. So number one, family, I want you all to, number one, keep in mind that the supervisor who did a routine audit, she said that this was not unusual for her to do an audit, which she claims was random, and to hear racist and inappropriate comments coming from white police officers. So keep that in mind. This is the norm. I also wanted to let you know that this judge upholding that, his firing is important. And I wanted to let you know, in case you didn't know, that the tape, the audio visual that we get to see as the public, it was not because the judge initially released it. The judge that was on the case initially denied the public access to that. So I want you to see how the whole system is messed up. Are you all hearing me? And I want you to also know that it was only because one of the officers challenged his firing in court. He entered that as evidence. So that's how we were able to get our hands on it. And it was released to the public for us to hear. You need to keep in mind that the whole system needs to be challenged and redone, Black family. These are just a short few updates I wanted to give you. My name is Vicki Dillard. Be sure to share the broadcast. Check out my yummy products and services on my website. The link is below at vickiplanet.com. I can't wait to see you again.